Imagine if there was someone constantly watching you when you ate, slept, or even went to the toilet in your own home and you had no idea. Imagine that this person knew everything about you, all your bad and disgusting habits, all your private business. Sometimes all it takes is a story like this to make you doubt as to whether you're ever truly alone. Hi, my name's Yasmin and I make videos that are either scary or disturbing in some way. The stories are always true and I post once a week, so please subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. This all happened in 2017 in Washington State, where there was a 16-year-old girl named Kuykendall whose friends started to receive some really strange and out-of-character text messages from her. The messages would say childish things that were mildly offensive one-liners, like something a teenage boy would probably find a little bit funny. Nonetheless, it was unlike her, and her friends confronted her about it because they were kind of like, what the heck, like where are these messages coming from? Courtney was just as confused though when she heard about this, and she thought maybe her phone was malfunctioning or it had been hacked or something happened, something went wrong and she was accidentally sending these messages that she didn't actually write herself. Courtney was pretty convinced that this was just a once-off anomaly, but a few days later, the Kuykendall household started to receive some random phone calls with no caller ID, so when they'd check their cell phones, it would just come up as restricted, and they couldn't really track where the phone calls were coming from. Courtney's mum would answer the phone, and there was just this creepy-ass, raspy voice on the other end. Even if it was like a prank caller or something, it really wasn't that funny because after a few days of this, that voice started to threaten the family. They threatened to kill their children, the pets, and even the grandparents. The family started to think that, maybe Courtney was involved with this because she was also sending those weird messages to her friends, and there was no reason why Courtney would do this, but her mum and dad confiscated her phone. The calls kept happening relentlessly, and they'd even turn off Courtney's phone at night, but they still kept getting incoming calls from a restricted number at all hours of the night. So if it wasn't Courtney and this kept happening, even with the phone off, who could it have been? And why was it happening? The attacks, believe it or not, started to get a little bit worse, where the phone stalker who was actually doing this had access to Courtney's phone camera. Sometimes they would take like a screenshot from her phone camera and send these messages to anyone in her contact list, and they sent it to her as well, just as a message to say that, the phone stalker's watching them and they know exactly what Courtney is wearing. Courtney's mum, Heather, was really at a loss of what to do. She'd get calls that would say, "You're going to die, we hate you, we're going to murder you." The voice would even tell them when they were alone exactly what they were doing or what they were eating, when they were in the privacy of their own home. In one instance, one of the Kuykendall family members was just minding their own business, cutting a lime in the kitchen, and soon after she got a text saying, "I prefer lemons." The phone stalker would even message them saying, "I know your phone security code," when one of them changed their alarm codes in the house, and there would be no way of anyone knowing, and how were they tracking this? But enough was enough. The family went to the police department to find out who this was, and straight after the meeting, they found out that even their microphones were being tapped into because they got a voice recording of themselves at the police station talking to the police, and the phone stalker basically sent this message to say, "We're on to you, and this is a warning that you shouldn't get the police involved." And it gets even worse. The Kuykendalls at nighttime heard this multiple times, but there would be banging on their windows and screaming from outside of their house. But everyone was too scared to actually check what was going on. It's only a thought that it was probably the phone stalker that was probably around their house. It wasn't only the Kuykendalls that this was happening to. So soon after, the Price family, which was another house down in the same neighborhood, who was actually related to the Kuykendalls, the mums of the two houses were sisters, They were also targeted. It's possible that this happened because the two households were related to each other, and the attacker thought that this might terrorize them even more by making similar threats and phone calls to this other Price family. This all continued for months on end. The families changed their phone numbers, they changed their phone plans, they changed their credit card details, their accounts, everything, their actual phones they changed. But nothing stopped the phone stalker from getting through to them. The Kuykendalls even changed their home alarm code multiple times. As soon as they did, the stalker would send them a message hinting that they knew what the code was. Meanwhile, the IT department for the police were getting involved, who actually claimed that this technology didn't even exist yet, so they didn't actually know how someone could even extract this information from the family. This was sort of somewhat untrue though, because when the police department really couldn't get anywhere, they got the FBI involved, and the FBI kind of said, you know, this technology does exist, but it's only really available to someone who's really tech savvy and who fits the profile. And it's thought that it was probably, not definite, there's no other evidence to suggest this, but it was probably a teenage boy, possibly from Courtney's school, that was doing this. The motive may have been that, you know, Courtney was a target of bullying, and it doesn't really explain why the entire family was involved and other families were involved. Once the FBI was involved though, everything stopped. They didn't get harassed anymore. The Price family also didn't get harassed anymore. For months they were enduring this, and one day it just stops. I guess we'll never really know why this happened. And the family, I don't know, if it happened to me, I'd probably live in some fear that it was going to come back. But luckily, they haven't heard anything from their phone stalker for years, and hopefully it stays that way. That was the Kuykendall family phone stalker mystery. If you found that interesting, then please subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!